everyone, this is Save Rajijan. So on 13 May 2020, Indian government came up with Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, that is Self-Reliant India movement. In this Abhiyan, Indian government has announced special and comprehensive economic package of rupees 20 lakh crore for different sections of society. MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium enterprises, are also covered in that package. But now question is, what does MSME mean? Whether there is any registration requirement? So today we are going to dissect Act that governs MSMEs, sectors which are included in the definition of MSMEs, existing definition and revised definition, because under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Indian government has also decided to change the definition of MSMEs, registration requirement, and we are also going to sneak peek into available benefits to the MSMEs. So now coming to Act that governs MSMEs. In 2006, Indian Parliament enacted an act called MSMED Act 2006, that is Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006. This act was enacted to facilitate the development and promotion of MSMEs, enhancing their competitiveness and to deal with matters connected and incidental thereto. Basically, MSMEs play a very important role in Indian economy and government wanted to promote MSMEs. So that's why they came up with a separate act, and the definition of MSMEs are also provided under this act. Now we have understood the act that governs MSMEs. Let's see sectors which are included in the definition of MSMEs. So manufacturers are covered under the definition of MSMEs. If you are a service provider, you are also covered under the definition of MSMEs. But traders, that is a business involving only buying and selling of goods, is not covered under the definition of MSMEs. To sum up, a manufacturing enterprise, a service enterprise are covered under the definition of MSMEs, but trading enterprise is not covered. So first of all, if you are a trader, you are outrightly not included in the definition of MSMEs, then you don't need to check other criteria. Now we have discussed which sectors are covered in the definition of MSMEs. Let's see what is the criteria to define MSMEs. As per existing act, MSMEs are defined on the basis of investment. So in case of manufacturer, we see the investment in plant and machinery, and in case of service providers, because they don't have plant and machinery but they have equipments. For example, I am a chartered accountant, I provide my services using laptop. So in case of service provider, we see investment in equipment to check whether a particular enterprise falls under the definition of MSMEs or not. So there is a threshold limit that has been provided, and basis that threshold limit we decide whether a particular enterprise is micro enterprise, small enterprise or medium enterprise. Now let's check the criteria, or rather threshold limit for each category. Now coming to manufacturer, in order to classify as micro enterprise, investment limit, threshold limit is 25 lakh. If you have made investment up to 25 lakh rupees in plant and machinery, you are classified as micro enterprise. For medium enterprise, the limit is 10 crore rupees, and for small enterprise, limit is 5 crore rupees. Now coming to service enterprises. In case of service enterprises, investment requirement is comparatively lower than manufacturing enterprises. So threshold limit in case of service enterprise is also lower. For example, for micro enterprise, that threshold limit is rupees 10 lakh. For small enterprises, limit is 2 crore, and for medium enterprises, limit is 5 crore. Meaning, if you are a micro enterprise, if you want to be classified as a micro enterprise, your investment in equipment should be up to 10 lakh rupees. If you exceed that investment limit, then you may fall under category of small enterprises or medium enterprises, or you may not be classified MSMEs. That depends upon your investment limit threshold criteria. So to sum up, as per existing definition, you need to check investment limit. In case of manufacturing, you need to check investment in plant and machinery. In case of service enterprises, you need to check investment in equipment. Basis that you will be classified as either as micro enterprise, either as small enterprise or as medium enterprise. So this is existing definition. As I mentioned earlier, that under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Indian government has also introduced revised definition of MSMEs. As per new definition, threshold limit for investment has been revised upwards. Plus, Indian government has also introduced additional turnover criteria. That means Now we need to check two criteria, that is investment and second one is turnover, in order to decide whether a particular enterprise falls under the definition of MSMEs or not. In addition to that, government has eliminated distinction between manufacturing and service enterprise, which means now there is going to be one threshold limit for manufacturing enterprise and service enterprise. There is no separate limit for both. Just one thing that needs to be keep in mind here is that trading businesses are still not covered under definition of MSMEs even in the revised definition. Now let's see the criteria to define micro, small and medium enterprise as per revised definition. For in terms of investment, in order to classify as micro enterprises, investment limit is up to 1 crore rupees. For small enterprises, limit is 10 crore rupees, and for medium enterprises, that limit is 20 crore rupees. And when see in terms of turnover, limit for micro enterprises is 5 crore rupees, for small enterprises 50 crore rupees, and for medium enterprises, the limit is 100 crore rupees. It means if you want to be classified as micro enterprises, your investment should be up to rupees 1 crore and your annual turnover should be up to 5 crore rupees. So we need to check annual turnover plus investment in order to be classified as micro, small, medium enterprise. Now question here is, why did government introduce revised definition? What's the reason behind these changes? So if you have noticed, MSMED Act was enacted in 2006. That means investment criteria, investment threshold limit that has been provided under the Act is 14 years old and value of rupee has already devalued. For example, rupees 10 crore of that time is of value of only rupees 3.61 crore. Under the Atmanirbhar presentation, government has specifically mentioned because of lower threshold limit, the urge to grow is not there for the MSMEs. Reason being because if they grow, they make investment, they will be outside the purview of MSME definition and they won't be able to avail benefits which are available for MSMEs. That's the reason Indian government has came up with revised threshold limit, upward limits for investment. Now coming to turnover criteria, why did government introduce turnover criteria? So turnover criteria is not something new that has been introduced during COVID-19 pandemic. In 2018, a bill was placed before the parliament to shift from investment criteria to turnover criteria, as government was of the view that turnover provides more unified approach and easier to trace as compared to investment, which may require physical investigation. But there had been certain reservations from certain groups. Maybe that's the reason that instead of completely doing away with investment criteria, government has decided to go for composite criteria, that is investment come turnover criteria. Now we have understood the definition of MSMEs and reasons for bringing changes in the definition. Now question is, from which date this new definition, this revised definition is applicable? So here it is important to note that new definition has been introduced through Atmanirbhar presentation, but necessary changes in law are required. So until and unless those changes are brought, new definition won't be applicable. In fact, if you see Atmanirbhar presentation part 1, you will notice that government has specifically mentioned that necessary law changes will be introduced to bring change in this definition of MSMEs. Until those changes are brought, existing definition, which is based on investment criteria with lower threshold limits, will remain applicable. So as of now, we need to check investment criteria with lower threshold limit to decide whether a particular business falls under the category of MSME or not. So now we have understood the existing definition as well as revised definition of MSMEs. Another question is there any registration requirement for MSMEs? So answer is yes, there is a registration requirement, and at present registration certificate or MSMEs is provided as Udyog Aadhaar registration. This is a completely online and hassle-free process. You just need to have your Aadhaar number and mobile number which is linked to your Aadhaar number. So once you enter those details and OTP, there is a form which you need to fill. There is no documentation requirement and there is no government fees. Once you fill the information, submit that and you will get your Udyog Aadhaar registration certificate, that is MSME's registration certificate. Even you don't need to wait for that certificate. It is a real-time process. So this is how Udyog Aadhaar registration certificate looks like. This certificate has UAM number, that is Udyog Adan Memorandum number, which is unique number for every certificate. Here you can see the details that it has name of the enterprise, address of the enterprise, nature and activities which are carried out by the enterprise. Now, we have understood the registration requirement definition. Another question is, why should I go for registration? Why should I get the registration done for as an MSME? Are there some benefits of registering as MSMEs? So answer is yes, there are some benefits. Although we are not going to discuss those benefits in detail, I'm just going to give you some overview of certain benefits which are available. An MSME has got protection against delay in payment. So if you are a micro or small enterprise and you have supplied goods or services to any buyer, that buyer is supposed to make payment to you within prescribed or agreed timelines, and in any case that timeline cannot exceed 45 days. In case he is unable to do so, he is required to make payment along with interest, which will be 3 times of bank rate prescribed by the RBI. In fact, for micro or small enterprise, there is MSME Facilitation Center. In case of any dispute related to payment, and a micro or small enterprise can approach to this MSME Facilitation Center to get the dispute settled and to receive its payment. Second benefit that a micro or small enterprise receive is collateral-free loan, which means that if you are a micro small enterprise, you are entitled to receive loan of up to rupees 10 lakh without payment of any security. And if you have got good track record, that limit can raise to 25 lakh rupees, subject to necessary approvals. Third benefit that an MSME get is lower interest rate. So if you are a micro, small or medium enterprise, you can get loan from bank with lower rate of interest as compared to what is applicable in other cases. Fourth benefit that an MSME receives is concession in electricity bills. So if you are an MSME, you can apply and get reduction in your electricity bill. So as mentioned by me earlier, that under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Indian government has provided certain benefits to MSMEs also to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. So some of such benefits are extension of emergency credit line. If you are an MSME with annual turnover of up to rupees 100 crore and outstanding loan of up to rupees 25 crore, you can avail additional loan without any guarantee fee or without any security. That additional loan will be equal to 20% of outstanding loan as on 29 Feb 2020, meaning that you can avail additional loan up to 20% without any security or any guarantee fee. Second thing is that government has come up with fund of funds. What does it mean? So here is going to be a main mother fund and then daughter fund. What will be the use of these funds? So these funds will be used to further fund the MSMEs through equity infusion. So they are going to infuse capital in the MSMEs so that they can grow and have finance. So that's all from my side for today. I hope you are able to understand the definition of MSMEs and registration requirement. We have not discussed benefit to MSME in detail in this video. If you want me to discuss the same, let me know in the comment box. We shall try to come up with another video very soon. Till then, bye bye. Have a great day. Thank you.